It's time for Twig This Week in Google, and we've got a great show planned for you. Jeff and Gina are here, along with Aaron Newcomb. We're going to talk about trolls. What's going on? Who are they? And what makes somebody turn into a troll? We'll also talk about some new Google features. There's a big, long changelog and a rap video all about Google that made Gina cry. It's all coming up next on Twig.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for This Week in Google is provided by Cachefly. CACHEFLY.com. This is Twig, This Week in Google, episode 188, recorded March 6th, 2013. The Taming of the Troll. This Week in Google is brought to you by LegalZoom.com. LegalZoom's not a law firm, but provides self-help services at your direction, like affordable business and personal documents you can trust. Visit LegalZoom.com and use the offer code TWIG to get $10 off at checkout. And by Ting.com. Ting is a new mobile phone service that just makes sense. Save money with Ting. Pay for what you use. You don't need a contract, and you'll get unlimited devices on a single pooled plan. To save $25 on your first Ting device, visit twig.ting.com. That's twig.ting.com. It's time for Twig This Week in Google, the show that covers Google, the cloud, and all of that jazz with Gina Trapani of smarterware.org and host of All About Android. Hi, Gina.
Hello. Good to see you.
Cute sweater.
Thank you.
It's sweater day on Twitter.
It is sweater day.
Gina, also former founding editor of Lifehacker, and just a all-around great person to have, a developer. So we get the developer's perspective on that. Speaking of developers, Aaron Newcomb is joining us.
Yes, thanks for having me.
He's a Linux geek, works at Oracle. Are you a developer at Oracle or a product manager?
No, product manager.
Yeah.
But I do development on the side.
That's what happens when you don't develop for a while. You make you a product
That's
manager.
right. That's right. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't get the memo. I didn't wear my sweater. I wore my
okay. What's
flannel
your shirt?
shirt.
What's your T-shirt?
T-shirt is an Android.
I like it.
Android print.
Nice.
That's that Android that you see on the phone when you're getting updated, but it's taken apart, so you can explode it.
That's
Android.
right. That's right.
You see all the parts, all the pieces, all the guts. Speaking of guts, here's the man who spills his guts on the internet, Jeff Jarvis.
That I do.
Author of Public Parts and professor of journalism at the City University of New York, blogger at buzzmachine.com.
Yeah, and if you all hadn't watched the pre-show, you should really watch live, because more information than you ever wanted to have about everyone's grooming habits,
Grooming,
medicine,
earwax, everything.
yeah,
Ear hair.
We went there. We're living in public here.
The reason we got into earwax is because, I wear in-ear monitors like Bono does. These I'm wearing Ultimate ears. But they've kind of fallen apart over the years because I use them so heavily. On the shows, it's funny because when I'm in, I don't know why, but it's just it's the aesthetic of it. When I'm in my office doing the radio show, I wear these big headphones. I look like a radio guy. But for some reason, when we come out here, I go to the in-ear monitor. I could wear either in both situations, but I just, for some reason, this is more like TV, so I don't want to have big headphones on. So I wear the Bono in-ear monitors. But so the guy who started Ultimate Ears sold it to Logitech, so they own it now. And that made me a little nervous. And he started a new one called JH Audio, so I ordered a pair. But the problem with all of these is they're fit to your ears, so you have to go get to an audiologist, and they make molds of your ears, and then you send them to the company, and then they make headphones and all of that, and it's very expensive.
Hey, Leo, that'll probably get rid of the wax.
Well, that's what happened. I went to the audiologist. He said, "Oh no, I'm not going in there."
The backstory was even more interesting than the wax discussion. I had no idea.
I'm not going. Well, and here's the side thing on that. 23andMe, which is Ann Wojcicki. How do you pronounce her last name? Wojcicki. Larry Page's wife's, Ann, who used to work at Google, now has a company called 23andMe, which you send them a cheek swab, and then they give you a genetic analysis.
You actually send them. I happen to have one because I'm.
Are you going to do it?
I've done it, but I'm doing it augmented. They wanted more. So you get this little kit where you.
More saliva?
Spit and spit.
Oh, that's right. You spit. That's right.
Spit until you think you can spit no more. And then you send this off for this little box.
It's only $100 now, which is nice.
Yeah. It's something.
So I didn't really learn. I thought I'd learn more. I mean, I didn't really learn much, you know.
I learned I'm from Europe.
Yeah. And as a European male, you have an elevated risk of a heart attack, of diabetes, you know, all this. But it's because you're a European male, not anything in particular about you. Your disease risk is all based on your ethnic roots, apparently. But I did learn there are a few traits that they can tell you. And one is I have wet earwax.
I do too.
You see? You see?
Yep. Yeah.
And is that
things
important?
that I didn't know. Yeah, like what's important?
What does it
I had
even
brown
mean?
Hair, brown eyes, and wet earwax.
Yeah. So my risk of prostate cancer is 43.4% compared to the average 17.8. But that's just because I'm a man.
Yeah.
So you're going to do another one that tells you more about yourself?
There was a certain thing that it said in the results that you need to get more on this result, which is one I kind of want to know about. You need to do another one.
Ah. So this is like digging deeper. Interesting.
I guess so. Or remember, I did it so long ago. I got it free when Anne appeared at, Davos about 4 years ago.
I do not flush due to alcohol. I'm unlikely to taste bitter foods.
Does it have the asparagus thing in there?
Really? Because is that genetic?
I don't know.
I'm likely tolerant of lactose. My hair is slightly curlier than average. My eyes are likely to be brown. Oh, good. I spent $100 to learn that. My muscle performance, I'm a likely sprinter. Wrong! I am not a likely sprinter. Anyway, you know, retrovirus. I'm not resistant to a norovirus. I'm not resistant to AIDS. If I'm a smoker, I'm likely to smoke more than the average bear. And I think this is, here it is, asparagus metabolite detection. Higher odds of detecting.
What?
What? Well, what?
Does that mean your pee smells even worse than?
It's a 23andMe
some
discovery.
Don't smell, some do.
And it's a discovery based on so that's the interesting thing about this. Then they ask you a lot of questions.
Oh.
And then they do some genotyping with your phenotype to match it up. And that's one of the things. Apparently, I have a moderately higher odds of smelling asparagus in my urine.
It is what it is, really? I was just joking.
No, that's what it is. But you know what? There's only three choices. Typical odds, moderately higher odds, or substantially higher odds. So basically, there's nobody who doesn't have odds or something.
Right. I can't get mine up.
Yeah. Well, let me see. That's in here too. All right. Enough genetic. I do think this is interesting, but it's such early days that it doesn't really tell you a whole lot yet.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
No.
Esther Dyson is one of 10 people who's published her full genome.
Well, I tried to do that. Now, that's another project, and I applied for it. I haven't heard back. That's the Public Genome Project, which is a very interesting project. The reason I did is we interviewed the guy on Futures in Biotech who's doing this. And the idea is you apply and they have to accept you and they do a full genotype, like not just, it's a personal genome project, I should say. Not just the 23andMe, which is a few genotypes. They do the full, which is much more expensive still. And if you participate, you agree, first of all, to fill out a big phenotype questionnaire, your complete medical history. This is what Esther's done. And that it will be published because they say we can't guarantee privacy. And really the point of this is to match your phenotype with your genotype so that there can be research done. Mm-hmm. So I said, I will do this because I don't have anything to hide. I live in public like you do, Jeff. And somebody pointed out you should ask your kids because you are, in fact, giving out information about your kids.
Well, when I talked to Esther about this, when I was researching public parts, I talked to her and said, well, I guess, Esther, I am revealing my son's DNA about prostate cancer. And she said, oh, Jeff, everybody gets prostate cancer. Get over it.
It's true. All men, eventually, if you live long enough, chances are very high. So they don't have a whole lot. Right now there's 10 or something participants. Esther's one of them, but they said there's no way that we can hide your name and information, so we don't even try.
So they rejected you again because why?
They didn't reject me. I've applied. I've said I'll pay the money because I really want to do it, but I haven't heard anything back from them yet. So, but that was more than a year ago. It was
wow.
Futures in Biotech. Yeah. So I don't know if they're stalled or
Maybe they've got so many submissions.
That's possible.
Yeah.
But it is one of those things where you kind of want to think long and hard before you do this, because it'll say, Leo Laporte is, carries some gene that makes it very likely that he's going to have Alzheimer's in 3 years.
That's
or whatever.
exactly the fear. And do you want to know? It's like, well, so many women are going through this now with the breast cancer gene.
Mm-hmm.
Not only do you want to know, but do you want your insurance company to know?
That's where we need legislation to protect you.
Right.
Yeah.
But I just think this is and kudos to Esther and everybody who's done this. It's a huge contribution, because the problem is, now you can order their genotype, it's in a bottle. It's like HeLa, right? You can order their genotype, and it's, it's SDI. And you then can look at the phenotype, like what her family histories are, what her medical history is and everything. And you could start doing some research around this stuff. And so I think this is a brilliant thing. If you want to know more, personalgenomes.org. And I have high hopes for this. But
I think you crashed the 23andMe server. I can't get to my stuff.
Oh, really?
All right.
Yeah.
It's really slow to load right now.
23andme.com for that one.
All right. So venous thromboembolism, I've got a 2.5 higher risk. Lung cancer, 1.4%, 1.4 times higher risk. Of course, it helps that I smoked for 8 years. Macular degeneration is high. Diabetes, very high.
But the thing that they're learning is that merely the genotype is not enough. That many people carry genotypes, but the expression of the gene has a lot to do with environmental and other nurture causes, right? Not nature causes. So you can have all it's telling you is you have this higher likelihood, but if you don't encounter the environmental stimuli to trigger it, you won't get it. And it's still very early days on this.
That's the thing that's kind of maddening about 23andMe is that it says, well, there's this likelihood. It doesn't mean you're actually going to get. It's not a diagnosis of anything.
But they can't.
It's just kind of this likelihood. There's no right. They can. Of course.
It's the limitation, I think, of genomics. I think we had hoped for more.
Right.
And maybe there will be more down the road.
Maybe there will be. Yeah.
I just think this, and what I'll give you one example of the value of this. Every cancer is genetically unique. And if we could genotype the cancers and genotype the patient, we could create a cancer fighting agent that targets just those cells. And chemo would be not nearly so dramatically poisonous. In fact, would be much more likely to be successful. And I think this is going to happen in the next decade. These kinds of tailored drugs. Silver bullet drugs. I think this is more likely. But you know what you should do? Listen to Futures in Biotech. We no longer broadcast the show, but he's still doing it. If you do, I think twice a month, Mark Pelletier does Futures in Biotech. FuturesInBiotech.com, I think. But you could Google Futures in Biotech. Every other Tuesday he does it. Let's get to Google. In fact,
lots of Google stuff.
This would be a good time to do the Google changelog.
The Google changelog.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gina Trapani with the Google changelog.
I just love that bumper. Lots of mobile app changes this week. Google Maps for iOS got updated with Google Contact Support and local search categories. So contact support means that it brings in your home address and other addresses from your Google contacts on the web once you sign in. This is the new Google Maps for iOS. New version of the app also allows for quicker local search. You can choose places from categories like restaurants and stores. And this new version also lets you pick between kilometers and miles as your distance units. The Google Chrome beta for Android. Also, this is the Chrome 26 beta on Android, is adding password sync across devices. So this will be enabled over the coming days. Google says they'll only sync with other clients that are also based on Chrome 26 or higher. So that's really nice, and it's actually going to sync your autofill values as well. The other thing the Chrome beta for Android adds is the the option to use data compression, which Google says will speed up your web browsing by 50%. So to turn this on, this is in the Chrome beta for Android. You have to go in the Omnibox, you type in Chrome //flags, and then you have to enable the first setting. This is an experimental feature. So you enable that first setting there, which is enable data compression proxy. So basically Google's put out a bunch of proxy servers running Speedy, which is their new compression protocol. And so anytime you browse to a website, not SSL, but just a normal connection website, you will go through Google's really super fast proxy servers and reduce your data usage. And so like I said, Google said this accelerator will reduce data usage by 50%, but you can see for yourself how much it actually saves you. In that same Chrome version, if you go to Chrome://net internals, you can go to the bandwidth section, and it'll tell you actually how much bandwidth you saved using the Speedy proxy. Yes.
It's not the first on my list. What's it called so I can look for it?
The
flag.
To check your beta, the data compression proxy. It's called Enable Data Compression Proxy.
That would make sense. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's in the new beta. I'm actually not sure if it's rolled out quite yet. It's Chrome 26. 0.0, 0.14, 10, 0.26. And it says it's rolling out over the next few days.
You have to be using the Chrome beta app, I believe.
Yeah.
I am doing that.
Now, there's, as I learned last week, there's the developer track and the beta track, right? Which it's in the developer or the beta?
No,
or both?
it's beta. It's
Beta.
in the Chrome beta. Yep. For those of you running the stable version of Chrome on Android and even iOS, those have both gotten updated to also get faster, speed up. Latest version of Chrome on Android, you can scroll and fling to view all of your favorite web pages with more speed and ease, Google says.
Scroll and fling?
Scroll and fling. It's got the latest version of the V8 JavaScript engine, which is optimized now for mobile. And Google says they've improved the Octane performance benchmark by 25% on average. So faster Chrome across the board, whether or not you're using beta or stable. And on iOS, Chrome also got an update. If you're using Chrome on your iPhone or your iPad, searching with Google got easier. You can see your search term in the Omnibox. So instead of the long URL, which will get cut off on your phone, especially, you'll just see your search terms in the Omnibox. And a couple other new iOS features. To quickly view your tab history, if you press and hold the back button to see any page that you previously visited, then a drop down appears, and you can quickly tap on one. The menu, you can share a web page that you visited, and you can share any web page via messages as well, and that's on iOS. That's it for Chrome on mobable.
But far from it about the changelog.
There's a couple other things.
There's more.
Google Plus totally revamped your profile pages today. Have you guys seen this?
Yeah.
Really nice.
Cool.
Cover photo is enormous. Resolution up to 2120 by 1192 pixels. And just nicer about layout. And it's really much easier to see how other people can see, how public people can see your profile, how your friends see it, what it looks like to you, obviously. There's a sticky basic information bar as you scroll down the page. It's just really nice. And with that cover photo upgrade, the hover cards, when you hover over other users' names, you can see their cover photo on the hover card. It looks really, really nice. And I might as well add this here in the changelog. Probably we have it listed elsewhere. But the Play Store's 1 year birthday is this week. And they're doing a little promotion over at the Play Store, a bunch of stuff for free. So if you go to Google Play, the Play Store, you can click on there, celebrate our first birthday with limited time gifts, free songs, a couple of free apps, a couple of nice giveaways this year to celebrate their year old. I guess the market was around. I guess they renamed it the Play Store a year ago, exactly. And it's funny, at the time I thought, not such a great name, but now I love it. So grew on me. And finally, Google I/O, which is going on in May, the new I/O 2013 site is up. If you go to developers.google.com/events/IO, all brand new.
Now, as everybody knows, 1 divided by 0 to the 13th is 1. What's 0 to the 13th? Is it 1?
No, it's a division by 0.
It's division by 0.
Is 0 to the 13th 0?
Yeah.
Well, that's not good.
No.
I just realized I can write
Someone just
binary
wrote
down
Google.
here at the bottom.
Scooch it. Oh,
So if
you're
you
writing
click on it-
binary.
Oh,
If you
cool.
get the code right, it will unlock Google. And you'll get the Google achievement.
It's binary.
What? But what are you writing?
I don't know.
Something's got to happen. I'm
It's
telling
only
you.
a certain number
Try
of-
doing 13 in binary.
What is that?
Aaron Newcomb.
Someone give me the
Binary is not as good as it
0010.
usst to be. Chat room will tell us.
Yeah, chat room will tell
It
us.
says
1011.
1011. Okay, here I got to.
Or is it 1101? It's 1101. Sorry.
1101.
try that.
Yeah, nothing happened.
It's got to do something. It's got to do something.
You crashed
So
Google.
Yeah.
if you click on it in different sequences, they sometimes turn red.
Yeah, so it looks like if you get it wrong, it turns red, and then the next one that you click, it'll start the next sequence.
So you're going for something. There's something going on there.
Chat room saying 0 and then 1111. I don't know why.
Well, here I also see 0011 123. Oh, no,
I
didn't
think
work.
try 0 and 5 ones. 6
okay.
ones.
0 1 2 3 4 5 6.
You guys.
There's no way to confirm or say.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I mean,
This week in paint drying.
No, come on.
green.
He did it.
Oh,
Oh my god. Oh my god.
whoa!
Got it.
It's
What'd you do?
ASCII. He turned it
Whoa.
into ASCII code. Okay, what was that
ASCII
again?
So it was up
0
here.
and all ones.
It's 0 and all ones, and it's actually up here in the corner of the web page.
So that's
it
1,
looks
2, 3,
like
4, 5, 6, 7.
I've
One.
passed through the first gate. This was
Now you got to do it again.
again. Okay, here we go.
You've entered the matrix.
Whoa.
It's now ASCII, right?
Cool.
Wait a minute. Where is this?
So this is
Is this the
Gina
Google-
had the link.
It's the Google I/O page.
Google.com/events/IO. Yeah, this is just the IO 2013 kind of official site. It just went up. It just went up this week. Thanks to Bear in the chat room for letting us know.
Are you spelling a word, perhaps?
I don't know.
What is the first?
I want
letter-
free
first thing
I/O
we did?
tickets.
What is the 0 plus 5 ones in ASCII? I mean, in binary.
No,
It is
not really.
binary.
0, 1, 1, 1, 1.
It is binary.
No, but what is that equivalent to?
Let me find out.
Binary translators. Everyone get out their binary translators.
That would be ASCII. Hello, world.
It also makes great sound effects on both the ASCII version and the.
Oh, does it? I missed that. I had it muted.
This is good. This is fun. Oh,
Yeah,
now
it's
it's
fun.
that's
there we
8-bit
go.
now.
So here,
You're in
yeah,
ASCII
I'm in the
land.
8-bit. So
Oh. I.
Yeah, that sounds like Castle Wolfenstein, all right.
Yeah.
so no, wow, that is so fun.
Meanwhile, I can't save my cover photo. Try again later.
Oh no. How come?
I don't know. So you have to upgrade by hand.
Yeah, it kind of prompts you when you go to your profile, like,
Maybe-
hey, get a new cover photo.
Yeah. And it says there's no going back. So just a
Yeah,
word.
there's no going back.
no going back. Once you change, your life will change forever.
Lauren Weinstein is complaining that I want to read the posts. I don't want to see this gigantic photo.
No,
Google
I think
Plus.
that makes it more appealing, doesn't it?
They've been going way more visual. I think it's just because it's been used for,
Pictures
Google
are
Plus has
good.
had this great photography community.
Yeah.
So
I
just
think
to wrap up
humans
the
are
change
visual.
log.
Yes, sorry. We got
Look what I
this.
got. Look what I got.
Oh, he's got bacon and eggs now.
Bacon and eggs.
How did you do that?
It's 100 1000. I don't know.
Go to
Oh,
my
they did.
cover. I just put a
1
giant
and 2
photo on
zeros, and then
there.
1
Holy
and 4
cow.
zeros.
It's giant. You're right. That is a little big for a profile
Yeah.
photo.
It
Holy
is the-
moly.
When you navigate to someone's profile, it starts the page kind of like halfway down the photo.
Ah, okay.
So you have to scroll up to
Have
see
you
the
done
entire
yours? Should I go to
thing.
your?
I have. Yeah, go right ahead.
Let's go to Gina's. See what happens.
And it's up
Oh,
to
not
that
somebody
height.
else,
It
but
doesn't
that's
have to
nice.
be-
That's pretty. That's Megan Peters. I don't know who that is, but that's nice. Okay. All right. All right. Cool.
I got another one.
Nice.
Ah, cats. Okay. So this is so the game is if you note when it goes red, you gotta learn basically not to do that sequence.
Yeah, I don't think it's binary anymore because it seems like it's more of a. It seems like it's more of just a pattern.
That's weird.
And it's not the same on each stage.
Oh.
Oh,
Somewhere in
passed
Google,
out.
someone is chortling right now. I got them.
I love that stuff.
That's cool.
Oh,
Oh, neat. Oh, so you get a
Whoa.
different one in the sequence, each thing that you do.
oh, a
Neat.
synthesizer. You got a Moog.
Nice.
This is somebody's 20% project
It
for the last
absolutely
3
is.
years.
It absolutely
As a
is.
shareholder, I don't know if I'm happy about this.
No, you want to, I bet this is all HTML5. This is all just to attract the developers to come to the
All
conference.
just to show how much we can do in HTML5. Exactly right.
And what's sad is that this site, is really, registration is on March 13th, starting at 7 a.m. Pacific time. So we've got basically a week to kind of play around
And
with
it
this
fills
site.
up pretty quick, right? So you'll-
within 20 minutes last year. So, and
Now-
I'm sure probably quicker this year.
just to speed up the what will they be giving away? They'll be giving away a Pixel. What do you think?
Ooh, that would be nice.
Pixel and Nexus 5. What are we gonna get? What comes
Well,
after
they don't give
Q?
away things they don't have yet. The Nexus, they don't announce things there, so I don't think the Nexus 5
So
will.
it would be a 4 then, probably, right? Yeah.
Might be.
Wait, they don't
Well,
announce
they announced the
things.
Q.
Yeah, they announced the Q.
Well, that's
They
true.
announced Glass. Well,
That worked so well.
I guess they didn't announce Glass, but they
Good
showed
theory,
they showed
Jeff.
the
So they
skydiving.
don't announce any successful products. Oh, I just lost Pong.
Don't. You were playing Pong?
Yeah,
It has Pong?
it has Pong. Yeah, 1 and 6 zeros and then another 1.
You got to think how much productivity is lost to Google Doodles over
Yes.
the years.
It's a conspiracy.
They announced the Nexus 7 last year and gave it to people. So
Yeah,
no, I think
true.
this
Oh,
that's
all right.
one of, I mean, this is a great way to make the developer conference a high priority for people because they know they're going to get a bunch of crap.
Yeah,
Well,
what
I'm
about the
telling you guys.
new version of Android maybe?
Chad's
Coming
playing
out?
Pong. We've lost him.
I lost
The
it.
thing is that there's always a new version of Android,
Right. What? So it's 4.2.2 is the current version, right? Are we going to go to K?
Oh, sorry, and I was saying Chrome. I meant Chrome. I
Chrome.
misheard Android and thought Chrome. I was like, there's always a new version of Chrome.
Well, I was thinking either,
yeah, no,
either
probably-
Android or the Motorola Nexus,
Yep.
which has been rumored. I mean, I don't know.
X phone, probably
Lots
key
of
lime pie.
options.
I don't
want
know.
this.
Should we expect it? What are you looking at? Is that a Pixel?
I'm in
What
love.
the hell? You got a Pixel? I thought you canceled it.
Well,
Oh, this is the,
then they
reviewer
sent me a
unit.
review unit.
And you're in
And-
love.
I'm in love.
Would you recommend that somebody spend $1,300 for that?
I didn't do. I did it. I did it.
So that's interesting.
It's just too great. The keyboard is butter. The screen is so much better. Unbelievable. I put it next to my Mac now, and the Mac looks positively ASCII.
Yeah.
And that'll get me in trouble.
No, well, but you don't have a Retina, so
No, I don't Retina. And it's just solid. It just keeps working.
that's the same reaction people with Retina displays have. But
Linus Torvalds did a song of praise to it on
Yeah,
Google
he
Plus.
gushed. He gushed over it.
interesting. Now, I wonder if he put Linux on it.
Yeah, he said he was going to.
Yeah.
It's going to, but right now, but he said he might still use this as a browser machine. He got it.
So
Dual
and you
boot.
can use Crouton, and we mentioned this last week. You can use Crouton as an emulator and use Linux within Chrome OS, which to me would make it a lot more desirable to have a real a
Yeah.
little bit of a real operating system.
Yeah.
But then but I hasn't hurt me. I'm using everything.
You're comfortable, and you can
I'm
play
living
Google
that.
I/O games.
I could if I had the IQ for it,
But not the binary codes.
or the patience,
Boy,
or
it's
the lack of
tempting.
life.
Has anybody installed? I mean, can we just put Ubuntu on it or some other?
Yeah, I
Linux
think you
on it?
can, as long as it's small enough to fit in the
Right.
memory that they give you.
That's the issue.
Well, no, you
storage.
can boot from a thumb drive.
You could
Right.
boot from a thumb
US
drive.
Not USB 3, alas.
No,
I think
No,
for a
that's-
computer at that cost,
It has a
Should've
fan.
had USB 3,
The battery is a bit less. But here's the thing. I didn't know that the review unit, I was sitting there somewhere, I didn't have Wi-Fi, and it said, getting a cell. I thought, oh, it has the cell coverage. And boom, I was on. And LTE on it is unbelievable.
but you got the cell one.
Well, that's the review unit they sent.
That's the one to wait for, probably. It's a couple $100 more,
Yeah,
but
150 more.
permanent internet access
Yeah,
is pretty
that's pretty
desirable.
nice.
And who's LTE? It's Verizon?
Verizon. It is a sweet machine, and I spend all day on browsers. That's what I'm
Well,
convinced.
now, do you
about.
think if you hadn't preconditioned yourself by using the Samsung Chromebook for a while?
Absolutely, I'd be one of those saying this is insane. I'd be the first time saying Google's nuts. I'd be saying all that, right? But the Samsung just made me so comfortable with living in the browser, living in the cloud.
I have to look at
That
this.
but the weakness of the Samsung was little memory, little too tinny. Pages would crap out.
It was a netbook. This isn't a real computer.
This is a beautiful computer. I gotta say.
And so really the only question is, does it do enough
Right.
as for a real computer? And Jeff says yes, and a lot do. Somebody in our chat room just says the best computer ever used.
It's amazing. And Chad, I'm going to go nutso trying to that client for one of our users sent us. I want to die to get it working, so I don't have to haul along a Mac when I travel.
4 to 5 weeks for the LTE version.
Yeah.
Now, is this like the other? So you get 100 megabytes a month?
No, you get a gigabyte. You get a terabyte
Of download.
Oh, download.
It's 100
yeah,
megabytes,
100
unless you pay
100
for more. Boy, that's interesting.
100 megabytes? Is that what it says?
That's what the Samsung Chromebook. You get 100 megabytes a month.
Free included with a Verizon.
100 megabytes?
Nothing.
Yeah, it's like you
but
can't
buy it
even
from there.
No,
watch
that's a
you can't even watch YouTube.
little bit of a
That's
trick.
come on.
It's a little bit of a
Well, that's if you're in an emergency situation where you want to get some mail, you don't have a Wi-Fi, you can get your mail.
Yeah.
Maybe, as long as you don't have attachments.
Attachments, yeah.
Well, I just ordered one. Just we'll see.
Did you just
did?
order one?
Yeah.
Nice.
Jeff always can tricks me into that stuff. No, what I did is, and this, hey, by the way, 4 to 5 weeks for the LTE, and that's the one I ordered. I'm not. I think you're right. I think you want the LTE if you're going to.
I was gonna. I see. That's what I originally ordered was the LTE, and then I said no, and I was going to order the Wi-Fi, and then when I, just the ease of, I was sitting in the doctor's office today, and just the ease of flipping over to the LTE, and there I was, and I was able to do what I wanted to.
Yeah. Or if you're commuting or anything, I mean, it's.
Yeah.
I do love the corporate card. Somebody said, Leo loves the corporate card. I do love the corporate card.
What's he done now?
Oh, Lucy, I got a question for you. 64 gigs on the LTE version too, so,
Yeah, it's
so
also
that will be a little
double-
bit better for putting Linux on,
Yeah.
which is one of the things I'm thinking.
I think if you dual boot Linux, I think it makes a lot of sense. You could put Linux Mint on that and be perfectly happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it's a real computer, and it's a really nice real computer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Someone in the chat room said that half Google employees use Ubuntu, which I had to look up on Wikipedia as just sort of a light skin over Ubuntu. And this person said, sorry, I missed it. It scrolled up. That it makes you wonder if they just want to make a really nice laptop for their employees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
is usually
that's a good-
Google's way, right?
that's a
Let's
good-
make something really good for Googlers.
Perfectly good justification.
It seems odd though, this huge jump. Like you had all these low end ones that everybody else was making, and then all of a sudden it's like wham,
Well, I
right
saw
to the
people
top.
who were Googlers said that they've been using this machine secretly inside the Plex for a year. So this thing's been in development for quite some time.
And we had somebody in the chat room, our buyers, right, who was on the team last week
Right,
Yes.
last week.
because he was so excited.
Well, he was so nervous that I'd be using misinformation too. I think that he.
Yeah, maybe that's. I would imagine they assign people to the show.
No, he's been helpful. Yeah.
Let's just see what Jeff and Leo and Gina are saying today.
Oh, somebody on Google Plus posted all of the codes, all the Google I/O codes,
nice.
the ones and zeros.
Oh, that's not. Don't look at it. That spoils the fun.
What?
You
Cat
should.
space Pong. I'm just going to use the Pong one.
Yeah, the
all. I
Pong
just wanna
one's
get the
great.
Pong.
Bacon, Simone, 8-bit song, synth, ASCII, bowling, rocket, and burger. So, and cat. So don't look now. Close your eyes. But you now know the list of things you're going for. That's what he should have published, and then obfuscated the binary, so that you know what you're going for. How many total is that?
And that is 6, 9, 12.
So if you don't,
12.
if you can't collect all 12.
Collect all 12.
And that's what Aaron's up to, by the way, right now.
Yep.
Any more on the change log?
That's it. That's all I got.
That's the Google change log. Thank you very much, Gina Tripati. We're going to take a break. Come back with more. Aaron is here, Aaron Newcomb. I got to make some money because I just bought a Pixel. What's wrong with
There
me?
goes our raise, Gina.
There goes your
Yeah.
raise, kids. Leo just spent it. And Jeff and Lena and Gina are also with us as always. Our show today brought to you by LegalZoom.com. LegalZoom, you've heard about, they're not a law firm. We're not talking about a law firm. No, much better. Self-help legal services at your direction for both business and personal documents you can trust. Incorporate your business or form a LegalZoom LLC, $99. That's what and you might say, well, that's not going to. Well, here's a pretty big company right here. This one called Twit. That's how we did it. How I did way back when it was just me. I couldn't afford to go to a law firm and say, let's create an LLC. But I knew I wanted an LLC. And so $99, that's a good deal. And we're still using those basic operating agreements and everything. Trademarks. We trademarked Twit and the logo. Got to do that. Copyrights, even patents and NDAs. You can protect your family and assets with a LegalZoom will, just $69. You can also create a living trust. Don't leave it up to the government and the courts to decide what happens to your estate and your kids. You got to have a will. In the past 12 years, 2 million Americans have used LegalZoom to do what I just did. Now it's 8 years ago. LLCs, wills, trusts, trademarks, and more. It's very simple, step-by-step questionnaire, total customer support. In fact, they've added something since I used it. I really would have taken advantage of this. Because sometimes as you're going through the questionnaire, like they ask, what state do you want to be incorporated in? And I thought, California or maybe Delaware. And I would have loved to ask an attorney. Now you can. If you have questions or need advice, you can access their extensive network of attorneys. LegalZoom's legal plans are available in most states. And you could search the online profiles and read unedited customer reviews so you could pick the attorney that's right for you. And, of course, prices that are fixed and established. And that's nice. Lot better than going to a big law firm for simple things like this. Start your business. Protect your family. LegalZoom.com. Again, it's not a law firm. It's self-help services at your specific. It was started by lawyers, though. But it's not a law firm. Self-help services at your specific direction, or speak to a legal plan attorney to get your questions answered and get ongoing advice. And all the forms, all the questionnaires, all that's drawn up by attorneys, of course. To receive a special thank you for using LegalZoom through Twig, make sure you use our offer code for LegalZoom.com, TWIG, and just as a little thank you, we'll cut $10 off your price at checkout. Just to let them know you heard it on Twig. TWIG at LegalZoom.com. Curse you, Jeff Jarvis. Curse you. You think I made a mistake buying that thing? It's going to be 4 to 5 weeks. That's a long time.
You can change your mind between now and then, which is what I do. I then go neurotic.
You already changed it a couple of times, yeah.
I have changed a couple of times. But my rule is if it's something I use absolutely every day, all the time, then I should get something good.
Well, I'm reviewing the Samsung Chromebook, the high-end one or higher-end one that you like and everybody seems to like. I'm reviewing that next week for Before You Buy, and I'll use it and kind of get used to it.
This is the 249 one.
Yeah. And yeah. So for that price, I could buy 5 of those for 1 pixel, but or 4 of those for 1 pixel. But
the other advantage, the advantage of the Samsung one is you get 6.5 hours battery versus 5.
Yeah.
And it's lighter and smaller.
But it's a netbook, basically. It's kind of
it's a netbook, but it's really pretty amazing. But it's going to feel
you're happy that
very workable, but tinny.
You're very happy that you got the Pixel.
I used the Samsung for 6-8 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, a long time in our world, and it was the only machine I was carrying with me. I went on unless I had to do Twig, I carried the Samsung with me on trips.
Now, you mentioned that maybe there'll be a Motorola Nexus. I don't know. After reading this, Google's CFO says, the Motorola stuff, it's not up to our standards.
Yeah.
Now, and he didn't say the existing stuff. He said kind of the new stuff, too. I happen to agree with him.
Yeah. Well, they just hired Guy Kawasaki, I think, to be a consultant.
Motorola did. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to make a huge difference. Patrick Pichette, who's a chief financial officer and senior vice president at Google, said the products in Motorola's pipeline, that's the upcoming ones, are, quote, not really up to the standards that what Google would say is, wow, innovative, transformative. This was at the Morgan Stanley Technology Conference.
Now that's how you sell devices.
Yeah, I guess it's not going to be the Nexus Motorola. He said, we've inherited 18 months of pipeline that we actually have to drain right now. It's like a pustule. While we're actually building the next wave of innovation and product lines. Boy, wow, that is harsh.
Well, talk about managing expectations, though. 'Cause I think it's actually smart to the extent that any new Motorola product is going to come out. People are going to say, oh, this is the best Google can do. And Google's going to say, we told you.
This is, we're still clearing the pus out of the pipeline.
It's strange that their pipeline is so long, though.
18 months. Well, is that strange? Do you think that's unusual for a...
I think it's a little long. I mean, it seems a little long.
For a company like that, that was the problem with Motorola.
Yeah.
Exactly the problem.
Yeah. Yep.
It's Detroit.
Is it naive for me to say, like, why don't they just shut down the pipeline? If they really don't think these products are any good, why don't they just stop it?
Well, I think that was the implication. And he says it's just the transition is an instant. That's all. But I think that's kind of the implication is we're not going to make this stuff. But it would make sense that at some point, maybe not by I/O time, the next Nexus, a Nexus will start coming from Motorola instead of anybody else, or maybe not. Maybe, Google's got to be at great pains to tell the other Android handset makers, hey, we're not going to give Motorola special treatment, because if that really were their perception, I don't know, that could be a risky thing, right? Even, Samsung is kind of signaling that to Google by saying, hey, we got Tizen. We got Windows phones. We don't have to make Android phones. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they haven't done more with Motorola, but I've also been through acquisitions on a number of occasions.
Yeah, well,
so I know
you
it does
came
take a
to
long
Oracle
time.
through an acquisition.
That's right. I came to Oracle through Sun.
Yeah.
And, I wonder if Google, this was a big acquisition for Google too. I wonder if there's some learning going on here.
Oh, yeah. It's a skill they don't, they don't really have it. It's such a different company.
They do acquisitions. They do acquisitions all the time, but it's usually like web startups, 10 people here, 10 people there. But this is a big corporation with obviously a long pipeline of hardware products. So maybe they're still learning how to do it. I don't know.
In the chat room, Bear just said Motorola was bought for its radio tech. Google Glass needed small, fast radios.
I like it. Bear is our sysadmin and is very smart. Used to work for the Mozilla Foundation. That makes sense.
And the patents, of course.
And they sold off the set-top division, which we thought for a while maybe was one of the reasons they bought it. They sold it off.
We thought maybe Google TV.
The other thing, of course, that is obvious is they bought them for their patents.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course they have relationships with the Verizons and the AT&Ts and those people too. Like, some of these products may have been, hey, look, here's our roadmap, and everybody agreed to it and signed off on it and was happy with it. Maybe they have agreements they can't back out of.
Now, if you're Google and you're under investigation by the chairman of the FTC, it seems like it would be a good idea to donate, let's say, 25 large to an event honoring the chairman of the FCC. Maybe you might get some good stuff out of that. That's what happened. The FTC says, we didn't know that.
Right hand should have talked to left hand.
We didn't know that. The implication being, well, since we didn't know it, it couldn't have had any implication in the fact that we let Google off pretty light in our investigation. I don't, let's be honest, 25 grand to honor the FCC chairman.
It's not to honor him. It's to support the charity that used honoring him as their excuse to beg for money. So this is Common Sense Media. I don't know who Common Sense Media is. Let's look that up. But that's where the money went. Leibovitz didn't benefit in any way.
Yeah.
He got to eat free chicken. Woo!
Yeah, big deal. FTC says Chairman Leibovitz had no idea Google was one of many corporate sponsors to the event until he read the article. But he's grateful and honored to accept the award from Common Sense Media, which does so much for kids and families and privacy. What a politician.
This seems like a non-story.
Yeah. Well, I think you got to report it, but I don't know if it. I think you could safely say, it probably didn't make a difference. So Google won in the Bundestag, right? Is that what you?
No, mein Freund. They didn't fully win.
Okay. They were smart to take it to the German legislature.
No, they weren't. No. What happened here was, mein Freund, hey, Chad, get the reggae ready.
And then we got a Leitungsietracht sighting.
So what happened was that this law was going to require the licensing of snippets. right?
Yeah.
There we go. There's 2 versions of it, by the way, now. So they were required licenses snippets. At the last minute, one of the parties proposed a compromise that exempted things, you're going to love this, up to 160 characters, like tweet length. And then that didn't survive, but instead they said, okay, 1 word or very few words you can do for free. So like frees up the word "the." Nobody can own the word "the." Nobody can make you license the word "the." Now.
Well, that's a relief.
Yeah, boy.
It's absurd. So, but the problem is there is no definition of a snippet. So this is going to go on and on and on. So Google said, "Oh, we're glad you got rid of the snippet thing, but still, it's dangerous and bad." I think it's horribly dangerous and bad. I wrote a post about this that was then translated into an op-ed at Zeit and Tagesspiegel, and in which I ridiculed this law and everything about it, but also said that I think it indicates a problem with Germany and technology. And these are arguments I've made on the show before. And then Christoph Käse, who's the architect of this bill from Axel Springer, a big publisher, kind of the News Corp of Germany, came into, we had a little back and forth in Twitter about this, where he was trying to argue that the Gutenberg stuff, you don't get me on Gutenberg, man. I was defending the Gutenberg view. So this idiocy continues. It's not over. Google didn't win. They won a that much, but we all lost because of this idea that you could license content for a year and not quote it without licensing it is obviously incredibly dangerous. And by the way, dangerous to media companies. How does Axel Springer get its content? They quote a lot of people. No, it's not over. Now what it's going to do is now going to go to the higher house. And that's controlled by the liberals. And the hope is that it will get defeated there, but we don't know. This is an election year thing with Merkel. The Conservative Party is giving this to Axel Springer and Berta, the publishers. So there's still danger out there, folks.
Stranger danger.
Yeah.
Okay, this is really annoying. And when I go to picasaweb.com, which is Google's photo sharing service, Picasa Web, I get sent to not Picasa Web, but Google+.
The plusification of Picasa.
It does pop up a little thing, click here to go back to Picasa Web Albums, but how long is that going to be there for?
Are your photos moved over to all moved over to Plus then? You have different photos in different places.
It's the same albums, and actually they're bigger thumbnails, which is nice, but I'm a little puzzled, I mean, does this mean it's the end of Picasa Web?
Do if they incorporated all the functionality of Picasa Web?
Yeah, that's the question. There were some features that Picasa Web had that I didn't find certainly didn't have in Google+.
Doesn't look like it. It seems kind of
like you could.
That's the real question.
They have been adding more and more features to Google+. I mean, maybe they finally got to the point now where they're like, okay, we're close enough. We can merge the 2 services.
Let me click on a photo. Yeah, this is all Google+ here. I do have Edit Photo, Magic Wand.
There's a lot of tools in Edit Photo.
I guess this is, I don't know, I'd have to really do a one-to-one comparison. Is this Aviary? Might be. Yeah, rotate, sharpen, resize.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, there's some nice tools. Maybe maybe the chat room more familiar with Picasa Web than I am. I do upload everything there, but ironically, I do it mostly through Google Plus photo sharing.
Right.
So
instant uploads.
Instant uploads. So, but maybe the chat room knows what features are there or should be there. I don't. Everything that I would use is there, but and now it's Google Plus. How about sharing with other people? I guess that's part of Plus built in, right?
Right.
The problem I have in Plus photos is I can't email a photo unless I'm stupid and never figured it out.
Really?
Or I can't save it.
You
I
share.
can do a save. Hold on.
Yeah, you just share it on Google Plus with an email address.
Yeah, and it emails it automatically.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah.
That's Microsoft Think.
It is a little, yeah. Huh.
You don't want to have, oh, duh moments. Okay.
It's showing the EXIF. Yeah, I guess this is much of the same information. It's interesting, though. It's kind of hidden under the Google Plus UI. Anyway, that's, I guess, goodbye Picasa Web. I think you got to say that, right?
Yeah, and if
Feels
all the
that way,
features are the
doesn't it?
same, I mean, it doesn't make sense to keep two.
It's better. It's
Yeah.
got bigger thumbnails. It's prettier.
Yeah.
You're used to using it. It's kind of a natural way to share.
I love how he just took that arc there where Leo was down.
Well, it makes me
maybe it's
nervous
okay.
because
It's better.
I don't like seeing Google Plusification of everything. But on the other hand, if you don't lose any features and you get new features,
Yeah,
is
see,
that
the
bad?
one that I was never had in Google Google Plus was the ability to move photos around in your album so they come up
you
in
do
the
that now?
and now I can do
Yeah.
it. Yeah, and
Drag
it's
'em-
nice. I look at
drag
the-
and drop.
Look
Yeah.
back at Flickr. Look back at Flickr, folks, where it was bought and then utterly orphaned and abandoned.
Right.
And
Yeah.
this could have been the fate of Picasa. Whereas now Google is going to care about what
Right.
happens with photos because it's all part of Plus and they love Plus whether
Right.
you do or not.
So guess what? Google's. This is interesting. Danny Sullivan, writing in Search Engine Watch, talks about the national security letter, FBI national security letter, and Google revealing. I think this is something they're not supposed to reveal, but maybe so.
Well, look how they revealed it, Leo. They revealed not much, but they wanted to reveal something.
Aren't you? At least under the Patriot Act, you're kind of not supposed to say anything.
You're not supposed to say specific numbers or specific cases. So what they did, they revealed a gigantic range of numbers, and it was their kind of little slap to the feds saying, we can't be transparent because you're not letting us be.
Right.
But
When
between
conducting
zero-
national security investigations, the U.S. FBI can issue a national security letter to obtain identifying information about a subscriber from telephone and internet companies. In other words, they send out a letter which says, who was that using Gmail at this time and this date with this IP address. The FBI has the authority to prohibit companies from talking about these requests. That's a Patriot Act feature. But we've been trying to find a way to provide more information about the national security letters we get, particularly as people have voiced concerns about the increase in their use since 9/11. Because it's not there's no oversight from a judge or anything. It's not a warrant, it's just an NSL. Today, we're going to start including data about NSLs in our transparency report. We're thankful to the U.S. government officials for working with us to provide greater insight. So I guess they've asked permission. But you're right, it's not a lot of information.
because it says zero. All you can
Ranges.
see there is that 1 year had more than other years.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We're
But
reporting
it's
numerical ranges rather than exact numbers. This is to raise concerns raised by the FBI, Justice Department, and other agencies. We plan to update these regularly.
This is actually quite interesting. I remember, I think it was maybe a month ago or so, they said they were going to start publishing
2010.
warrants and how many warrants and subpoenas and stuff they get.
Right.
So they're just adding to that same report.
Well, what we know is they've received in the last 4 years between 0 and 1,000 NSLs. And the only thing that's different is the number of accounts, number of users, and the number of accounts. And it's actually it peaked at 2010, and about twice as many in 2010, apparently, or roughly. But it's somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 last year accounts. Doesn't really tell you a whole lot, doesn't it?
No.
It
I
just
think
tells you
it's-
the total number.
Yeah. And then the requests by reporting period, percentage of requests where some data was produced is very close to 100. Actually, it's going down. It's going down. That's that graph on the right, Chad.
And then down below that, it tells you the details of the search warrants and the subpoenas and other. I don't know what other is, but.
Well, but good on Google for at least attempting to reveal something.
Exactly. This is
I mean, the
danger.
transparency report, is great. But all this says is really that they got more requests in 2010 than they did in 2009.
I think what it really says is this is happening, and we just want you to know we're not allowed to tell you, but we do want to let you know it is happening.
Yeah.
And,
We can't
and
tell
the
you what we
government
can't tell
won't
you.
let us tell you anything, or not much anyway. Google's services should not require real names, says the father of the internet. Thank you, Vince Cerf, but you better talk to Larry about that.
Yeah.
He's right. He says, in the face of increasing government crackdowns, Google should not force internet users to reveal their real names for some services, including Google Plus, says Vince Cerf. Now, you don't call the father of the internet under the carpet, so I don't know what you do at this point.
But you know, there's becoming this overarching rule that says that requiring names is bad, right? So shift to another example. LinkedIn would be clearly useless without real names, right? It makes absolutely no sense. Like there's no possible use of LinkedIn without real names on the one extreme, right? And on the other extreme is 4chan.
Right.
So
totally anonymous.
Right. In the middle, there is, I think, some right, even responsibility to try to determine the rules of a platform and a community you start, right? And I always argue that Facebook's key differentiator was that it brought real names and real identity and real relationships to an otherwise too anonymous web. And we grabbed that because we wanted that, because we were sick of just nothing but trolls everywhere. And so, you know, I think that was a benefit, right? And then, yeah, anonymity has its place. Anonymity is important, but real relationships and real people also have their place that are important. And I don't think there's anything wrong with requiring that. The problem comes in at the moment where Facebook or Google becomes a platform for communication that are necessary by those who are using anonymity for a reason, right? Witness what happened to Wael Ghonim in Egypt with Facebook. Facebook was a place to go get people in Egypt. He didn't want to start an account with his own name, but he couldn't. So there's some exception needed for those circumstances, but I think it's perfectly legitimate for Facebook and Google Plus to say, this is a place for real people, and that's what we're trying for.
Encourage but not require?
Right. Because essentially, isn't the service going to be the thing that says, I want to use my real name because of the benefits that I get from that.
Yeah, right? but you've already gone over the edge. You've gone over the edge to troll land. And I'm not saying, by the way, let me make very clear here, I'm not saying that identity exterminates trolls. I just wrote a big piece for Medium about this, arguing the opposite.
Oh, really? Now that's intriguing. I always thought that if somebody uses their real name, they're much less likely to troll.
Well, I can name some trolls by name.
Yeah, but look, perfect example is the Reddit troll who was outed and has disappeared.
And it stopped him, right? But I can also very much name some trolls by name. I'm not going to, because I'm not going to give them satisfaction. That's the point, right?
Mike Garrington, you mean?
I didn't say anything. No, that's your troll. I didn't call him a troll. No, sirree.
Well, I've quite publicly called him a troll, so there's no taking that back.
But I attempted on Medium to define a troll. I think, did we talk about this last week?
I don't remember it.
Oh, there's a book out called. May I use the word a-hole spelled out or not?
Yeah, a-hole just like that.
Just like that. Okay. So there's a book called A-Hole's A Theory.
I want to read that. Yeah. What is the theory?
He defined a-holes, and it's a whole book, and it's very smart and very clever, and goes on. But then I argued that he left out a key genus of the species, which is trolls. So if you go to medium.com, where are you going to find it? I'll send it to you right now in the rundown.
Okay.
Can I send it to you on Skype? No, I can't do that.
You could send it, but I don't know who would get it.
If you go to medium.com at Jeff Jarvis, you'll see it's the second article defining the troll.
Right. So what I said is the troll. So there's a definition of a-hole there, and then I come down later where you see the 1, 2, 3, and the definition of troll. And his view is that an a-hole, it'd be nicer if we just actually use the word, because that sounds even worse. But anyway, allows himself to enjoy special advantages and does so systematically. 2, does this out of an entrenched sense of entitlement, and 3, is immunized by his sense of entitlement against complaints of other people.
Yes, right? I'd agree with all that.
I think it's right. So I say what distinguishes the troll from the mere a-hole is that he, and by the way, I figured no women were going to complain about me using the male gender for this. Yeah. Most trolls are male.
No, I support the use of he here.
No, there's got to be female trolls. I know female trolls. There are female trolls.
There are, but we don't have to talk about that.
So number 1, he has a target. Number 2, he seeks to get a response, a rise out of that target.
I would disagree on he has a target. A lot of trolling is, for instance, we have trolls come into the chat room. They're not targeting anything. They just want the attention. They certainly want negative attention.
But where do they choose to do it? Okay, that's a good point.
No, it depends what forum you're using. But I think a lot of trolls do not have a specific target. They, in fact, most successfully target everyone.
Right.
Well, this goes back to number 3 then, which is he believes he's acting out of some ordained moral purpose to destroy, to bring down his
I
target.
disagree with that as well.
Really?
I think that's an a-hole.
Yeah.
But I think a troll is really, I think very simply, in my opinion, having lots of experience with trolls, it's somebody who wants attention of any kind, even if it's negative attention.
I think that's more a-hole behavior. I think the troll is a step beyond that. That wants destruction.
Well, no, I don't know about that. It's a destructive behavior, but I'm not sure I would ascribe the intent to destroy as the motivating force. In some, it is.
Right.
In some, it is, but I think in a great many, it is not. They just want attention.
Interesting.
I think, and you know who should weigh in is our chat mods in the chat room, because they deal with trolls all the time. And there maybe are different kinds of trolls. Maybe there's forum trolls, chat trolls. Yeah. But I think that a troll is happiest when they've created conflict. They've left a trail of annoyed people behind them. But mostly what they want is a lot of people talking about them. And they're not so very different from John Hinckley or anybody who wants attention and is willing to do something really offensive to get it. That's my theory.
Troll was trying to make a point. Yeah, I think there's probably both ways. I mean, the Reddit troll is just trying to make a point. Trolls I've dealt with have at least sort of pick a target.
Because you're the target. And I suppose you could make the case that I or Twit are the targets in the chat room. They certainly choose that.
That's what I'm kind of saying.
There's something about that person or that place or that company or that forum that triggers something in them that makes them feel like it's my job to disrupt this place.
Right, Gina. Right, exactly. And by their action, they are showing disdain for the place they're schmutzing.
Actually, this is another, I'll file a dissenting opinion. Oftentimes, trolls love the place they're trolling.
Really?
And yeah, it's the kid who dips your pigtails into the ink. That really it is I think trolls it's a form of, a mental problem, and it's somebody who, as a kid, got negative attention, is maybe the only attention they got from their parent, and they really like somebody, and what they want is attention, and they only know how to get negative attention. So if they're targeting you, it may not be targeting you to destroy you. It may, in fact, merely be targeting you to get your attention.
Right, that thin line between love and hate thing. Yeah.
Now I'm going to use the word appropriately. That's creepy.
Well, it's a little creepy. Look, that's
stalking.
A lay psychology, okay? But my lay psychology is, here's a kid, didn't get enough attention. As a kid, did not get enough attention. The only attention he got from his mom or his dad was negative. Stop that, knock it off, get out of here. But it was the only attention he got, and he learned that was the closest thing to love he was going to get from a parent. Grows up into life, and still craves that kind of attention, because for him or her, that's the attention they know, and that's what equates to love. And I think very frequently...
That's the Howard Stern analysis. Right? Sit down, shut up, you moron, said his father.
Yeah.
So that's what you're saying is that analysis.
And I only say that because maybe that's the kind of troll we get. There are certainly trolls... There are really evil people who go after people, the creepers, the stalkers. That's not a troll to me. That's a different thing. That's a stalker. But a troll is somebody who goes into a community and disrupts it. But it's my opinion, they don't disrupt it because they dislike the community. They disrupt it because they want to be a part of the community and they want the community's attention.
I think that's even what that guy from Reddit said in the interview, didn't he? He's like, this was my life. This is what I lived for.
He loved it.
I love it.
He loved that he got the attention.
He got the attention.
But he also loved Reddit. I mean, he loved Reddit.
Right. He loved Reddit. This precisely.
Reddit's, policies.
Well, he also loved Reddit because it enabled him anonymously to do this.
Yeah, but that's where he chose. Right. That was his forum. He chose that as his forum. Anyway, so a troll may not be an a-hole.
A troll.
Oh,
it's
interesting
an a-troll.
That we have a disagreement in taxonomy here.
I don't know if it's germane. I do. Well, it is germane, because understanding the person's motivation will help you in dealing with the person. But at least it'll take some of the sting out of it.
I think there's some people that don't know they're trolls. Do you think?
Oh, most trolls don't know they're trolls.
I mean, they just want to argue.
Yeah.
And it's
you
like,
know who was a troll is our lead moderator, Dan, was a horrendous troll. That's how I first met him. I banned him 3 or 4 times from our forums. Before, it wasn't chat, it was a forum. He acknowledges this. I'm not saying anything. But I hung with him. And he kept coming back. And I eventually I realized, he just really wants to play. And now he's like he's still a little trollish from time to time. Because he likes conflict, I think. But he's our most ardent volunteer. And has been for 10 years.
That's a really big accomplishment.
Interesting.
To change a troll into a contributor, that's big.
I think that it's possible in many cases. Poacher turned gamekeeper, says Charlie. But who better to patrol for trolls than an ex-troll?
Right. Yep.
I think often. Now I'm going to really get in trouble. Police officers, if they weren't police officers, would be criminals.
Well, that's the basic, 30s movie plot of the good brother and the bad brother, the priest and the... Yeah.
I don't know.
I got anonymity. Sorry.
Anonymity. Back to anonymity. Vince says we're doing the right thing. We're doing it just right. The EFF begs to differ. Jillian, I can't. I'm finding the article again. We got off on that troll thing. Let me back up a couple of pages back here. By the way, medium.com, we've talked about it before. Jeff writes some great stuff there. I don't know why you're giving it away to Ev, but go ahead. Keep up the good work.
It sure does look pretty, though.
Jillian York of the EF. It does look, it's really pretty. It's great. I just wouldn't give my work away. Jillian says, Google's approach to this takes the view that the only thing people want to stay safe from is government. And that's one reason there's certainly one reason, but that's not entirely true. People are also concerned about staying protected from Google itself.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't think of that, says Vint Cerf. We're the good guys.
But Vint and the EFF agree, don't they?
Well, Vint, what they disagree on is that Vint thinks Google's doing enough to protect anonymity. I'm not sure the EFF agrees.
Right, because users have the choice, right, to display a pseudonym.
Right.
So they give your real name, but then only display a pseudonym.
Right. Google knows your real name, and what the EFF is saying is, well, that's okay. That's anonymity from somebody, but Google, others than Google, but maybe they want to be anonymous from Google.
Right.
And since the Google is responding to these national security letters, that may be synonymous with being anonymous from the government.
Well, but that's the problem in that scenario is the government again, not Google. Tell me where Google has harmed someone by knowing their identity.
Well, we don't know. I mean,
where government has.
I just had this long argument on security now with Steve Gibson, who thinks that tracking cookies harm you. That's what Google engages in very actively.
Could harm you.
Well, yeah, I don't want to get that. Anyway, moving on.
There's a rabbit down there.
Moving on. That's a big rabbit hole. That's a long one, which we've gone down many times before.
Yes.
All right. YouTube's going to launch a music service to compete with Spotify. What do you think? Is that a rumor? I don't think Google's confirmed it.
Well, they've got deals now. Apparently,
signed a deal with
Warner and Universal, I think. Was it Universal? Or I can't remember.
This
but
comes from Fortune, which was briefed on the service by sources in the record industry and those at Google who declined to be named. YouTube said, while we don't comment on rumor or speculation, there are some content creators that think they would benefit from a subscription revenue stream in addition to ads. So we're looking at that. That's not, that by the way, that could very well just be people who want to do pay-per-view on YouTube, which they are, we know, doing. I think this is one of the few companies that could come marching into this space and do well. Yeah.
I mean, they've already got a good music
Vivo
service.
Yep.
Well, they've got all the stuff on YouTube, but then they have Google Music. They're already doing things like content matching, when you upload your, so it seems like they've got all the pieces. What they don't have is all of the content itself. They don't have licenses to
just Warner's and somebody else. Yeah. So you got to get them all.
Yeah, you got to get them all, and then that makes you really competitive, I think.
But Billboard last year started including YouTube views into the Billboard charts. That's how Harlem Shake went to #1. Call Me Maybe, Oppo Gangnam Style. somebody that I used to know from, as I've been told, it's pronounced Gautier.
Oh, thank you for that.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
It's not goatee?
I've been saying gotcha.
I knew it was Gautier. I didn't realize that the song had gotten that popular because of the views.
Yeah. 380 million views. You know, the two things that are very similar between Oppo Gangnam Style and somebody that I used to know is that in both cases there were a lot of parodies, remixes, tributes, and that's got there's such a lesson there. You know,
there's so much about
Let It Go.
Yep.
Call Me Maybe too. There were hundreds of Call Me Maybe.
Oh my word.
So what a
Just
surprise. And Harlem Shake, do I have to say any more? That's the way you want to get viral, go viral. Let everybody remix and modify your stuff.
Well, let them have it. Amanda Palmer did a really, really, really good TED Talk. I know I'm overdue asking her to be on the show. And talked about how she realized the change came in trying to force people to pay versus allowing them to pay.
Yeah.
And that it's really about a relationship, and she understands the relationship she has with the public, and it works. And I even showed the entire video to my entrepreneurial students, saying this is a new business model. It's a different business model. We had Perry Chen, co-founder of Kickstarter, in, and it's the same kind of thing. It's you allow people to act as a patron for something. You allow them to remix something. You change your relationship with them in a way that's not a relationship of force. And you, Leo, are very good at that.
Thank you. Amanda is a musician who's achieved some real success.
She did a raise of $1.2 million on Kickstarter
album, and uses Google Plus and uses all the modern tools.
Speaking of Harlem Shake and YouTube, you have gone to youtube.com and searched for Do the Harlem Shake, right?
Yeah, I can't believe that wasn't on the change log.
I know. I thought about it. I didn't know. It was like Easter eggs. I don't know if those count.
It's not a change, but let's just, for those who haven't done it,
Easter egg.
Let's just show them. You go to youtube.com, and it should do this in Chrome. I tried an Internet Explorer. It didn't
work.
Yeah, Do the Harlem Shake. And is it going to do it? What?
Whoa.
What? Did I type it wrong?
Nothing? Are you in IE right now?
Type it.
I must be in IE. No, isn't this Chrome? This is Chrome.
Maybe you need to actually type it, Leo.
Hand by hand?
Yeah, that could be.
Cut and paste.
Do the Harlem Shake. That's what I'm supposed to type, right?
Yep.
Maybe they turned it off. Am I IE? Oh, I'm in IE. You know,
You're
Chrome and IE look so much. Oh, shut up. Oh, shut up. Go away now. So first the YouTube logo itself shakes back and forth, and then after the drop, the whole page jiggles.
The whole page does the dance.
So silly. I don't know. I guess because I'm just over the Harlem Shake.
I think I was over it before it came out.
Yeah, it was.
Do you think they show those things to Larry before they put them up?
Oh, that's a good question. Why is Gita getting brighter and brighter?
Sorry, I'm adjusting my settings. I'm trying to get.
Is it?
Complaining
Is there an asteroid that's breaking up near where you are?
It's just it's getting brighter here because I'm in San Diego, so the sun's getting a little lower, and I'm sitting in front of a window, so that should be better.
Gina's coming to us from a Russian dashboard cam somewhere in the Ukraine.
How do you adjust your settings, Gina? How do you do that?
It's in webcam settings, the webcam settings panel, which is an $8 app I got in the Mac App Store.
That's right. That's right.
Which is working with my awesome new Logitech C920. Thank you, Twitch.
We're getting everything is just looking so good now. Google employee
looks perfect. Thanks.
Insanely catchy rap video.
Ooh.
And with product placement for a certain product that I like.
So is this an ad?
No, but it's product placement for Leo. What would Google do?
Pixel.
No.
No? What? What would Google do?
That's what's.
I got to read the book. Let's go see it and see.
That's
watch
what they use
and learn. Google employee. Oh, this is the article. Here's the video. Let's go full screen. Welcome to Google. It says.
Okay, give it a second.
Okay, patience. There's the Google.
Sound.
We're not getting audio. Oh, I got to turn it up. Oh, crud. Oh, crud. How do I turn it up? You know, this Windows stuff is going to kill me one of these days.
Get rid of it. Get a Chromebook.
I need a Chromebook. I need a Chromebook. Function all the way up. There we go. Okay, let's rewind. Here we go. Oh, Earth is mapping in the Google plus Google, huh? Welcome to Google, he says.
I want to welcome everybody to the Google generation. Google is a nation. Google is a nation. You were probably watching this through my YouTube page on your Chrome, Android, or another Google innovation. More than amazing, we're more than search.
So
more
every
than
product's
website,
in here.
More than maps or Earth. More than G+, way bigger than Gmail. Bigger than Google Wallet or shopping for retail. We will continue to stay ahead of the curve where technology and intelligence converge. Obsessively concerned with making our products better than they were. Never settle for second. We don't even settle when in first. Google Plex, the best. Let me show you around where we get Googley. Let me show you around Google inside. Welcome to Google. Welcome to Google. This is the Google Plex, the home of where the future's kept. Welcome to Google. This is the Google Plex. There's no telling what we're doing next. Welcome to Google. This is the Google Plex, the home of where the future's kept. So welcome to Google. This is the Google Plex. There's no telling what we're doing next.
Are they trying too hard?
That is horrible.
Like it would have been, they could have made it funny, right? I mean, they could have put like made it like a joke, like we're rapping, but we're nerds and we're all wearing our Google glasses now or something. I mean, I don't know. It just seemed like they were trying to be too serious about it.
Yeah, to earn it. That was terrible.
And failing.
Terrible.
They showed my book twice. I love them.
See, us old white guys, we think that rap thing's going somewhere. That's going to be big someday.
Oh. I'm sorry. I'm just horrified.
She is groaning. Really, it's so bad.
I'm really glad they showed your book, Jeff, but wow. That's wow.
I'll tell you what, though. I mean, it is. He was putting himself out there. It may not have. It may not have worked out, but give him the props. He took a risk.
He took a risk.
He did something different.
He failed.
That's okay. You learn from it.
Move on.
While you're showing video, Leo, the other video is very charming that I have on the list there.
Oh, well, let me go
Under it.
Go back to the list.
Oh, it says.
Do you have that?
Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
It was kind of Vanilla Ice.
It was very Vanilla Icy. See, I screw myself up by closing Internet Explorer. Which, by the way, do you notice how much this looks like Chrome now? They've got the tools on the right and everything. I couldn't even tell the difference anymore. My Drive, Twitch shows, This Week in Google Rundown. Who's on Triangulation this coming up? Oh, Poe Bronson.
Oh, yeah.
He and Ashley Merriweather have a new book. What's the book about? The Science of Winning and Losing. Poe was a novelist at first, but he's now gone into these They've been studying. He and Ashley Merriweather are doing some really interesting stuff. So that'll be fun. I'm looking now. Where did you put this? Way down?
Under the Google part, it says video :
The changelog is so damn long. Taking me hours to scroll through the changelog.
Sorry.
YouTube, law, Facebook. We have any? There we go. Here we go. Here's an awe video.
Are you gonna ask it?
1 second, honey.
Ask it now, please.
Okay.
It's snowing for those who want to know.
Google, check Sequoia Flight 62.
Sequoia Flight 62 is canceled.
That is an awe. That is awesome. Oh.
Goosebumps.
I hope my flight gets canceled. That'd be
That's
so
a good commercial.
great.
That almost made up for that terrible rap.
Yeah, that was a lot better.
If they'd only
I had to clean your palate, Gina.
Yeah.
Palate cleanser.
I feel restored back to.
Palate cleanser. All right, I want to wrap it up. So, are there any other? Because we got Poe on the line here. Is there any other?
next week, let's talk about the Google Glass techno panic. I'm going to write a piece about that, so we'll get to that later.
Okay.
Oh, that'll be a good piece.
Maybe by then I will have my Google glasses.
Really?
No.
Really?
No.
We were all surprised. Like, what?
Leo, have you heard anything?
Not a word.
Yeah, me neither. Did you guys see that Andy Anako is switching to Android?
We talked, poor Andy. We talked at length with him on Mac Break Weekly yesterday, and he's now apostate in the Mac crowd.
Yes, I have to watch that episode because I have to tell you, some dude switches mobile operating systems is kind of like, it's a non-story, right? You see these switch articles all the time, but when it's Andy Anako, I mean, my jaw was on the floor yesterday.
He is, you can read a 3-part article he's published on techhive.com. Describing what he found, were the final elements that put him over the top. He and I have always gone back and forth because I switched to Android a long time ago, and what he always said to me is, it's just the fit and finish. The apps are just not as polished. The fit and finish. I said, but Andy, you could do so much more with Android. He said, yeah, but it just doesn't feel as. And so finally, he said, the functionality has finally reached a level, and the fit and finish has improved enough so that the scales have tipped in the favor. And he has 3 or 4 examples. Different kinds of keyboards.
Yeah,
is huge. He loves Swipe.
He did a great bit on just text entry, right? That he spends lots of time doing text entry, and it's just easier on Android.
The integrated ability to share to anywhere, anytime, and a new app can always add itself to that share menu, which is Apple controls the share menu on and very tightly on iOS. And in fact, I think it's a subclass of a larger class, which is that Apple locks companies out of things like text messaging, the dialer, and all of that stuff, whereas Google and Android allow apps to use it, and so you get a large variety of much more interesting apps. For instance, Mighty Text, which allows me to use a Chrome plugin to send text messages via my phone, things like that. You can't write text messages on iOS. Only Apple can write text messages. So there's a number of things like that he says have finally put him over the top. Techhive.com, and of course, if you really want some fun, read the comments.
I bet. Oh, man.
If you really want to get. But, Andy, to me, it is a non-story because any good tech journalist is not, if they're doing their job, is not going to say, well, I will only use iPhones.
Right.
You got to use you got to be open-minded and look at what's out there and use the best and talk about the best. And I don't, maybe if all he did was write about iPhones, it would be reasonable to just stick with an iPhone, but...
Right. Well, I mean, he's just someone who was just a big iOS fan for a really long time, well-known sort of amongst the Mac circles. He hasn't been banned from Mac Break Weekly yet.
No, of course not. But he still uses a Mac. See, this is what I find interesting is that Apple is not iOS, and yet people act like it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, when Andy gets a Chromebook, that'll be the end of days.
Oh, he has one. When he uses it full time, that'll be the end of days.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a writer. He probably could live on a Chromebook very easily.
Absolutely. He likes stripped down editors. That's all he wants. Although when you see Jason Snell stripped down, it's not as exciting as you thought. Time Warner Cable says, people don't really want gigabit. We've done surveys.
Charge them a fortune for it. They don't buy it.
Yeah, we figured out what the survey was. Would you pay $10,000 a month for gigabit Ethernet? No way. You see, they don't want gigabit Ethernet. Okay.
Yeah. That whole fiber optic Google experiment.
That's a terrible idea.
Yeah,
terrible idea. Google and Microsoft dominate, in fact, the Forbes billionaire list. Number of Googlers making their way onto that list now. Of course, for years dominated by Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Mark Zuckerberg now, the youngest, and Moskowitz. Who's that? Must be a Googler.
From Facebook co-founder.
Yeah.
Oh, Facebook. Okay. This is the world's richest people.
Bezos beats the Google boys by $2 billion.
Well, he owns Amazon outright.
A larger part of it.
Or a larger part of it.
Says, I think that, I was thinking there was another story we had in the rundown this week. I forget what it was, but
the Six Strikes.
Everybody misses the real war here. Everybody thinks it's Apple versus Google. I don't think it's that at all. I think it's Google versus Amazon.
Yeah, well, it will be someday. Yeah.
Amazon, Google is now starting its own same-day delivery service.
Yeah.
Everything you go through, that's where the war is.
I'm not sure I want that Pixel to come tomorrow. Bill Gates, number 2 with $67 billion. Amancio Ortega from Spain. He owns Zara. Warren Buffett, number 4. Larry Ellison, number 5. Charles Koch, one of the Koch brothers. Oh, and there's the other Koch brother right below him, David Koch. La Ka-shing from Hong Kong, $31 billion. The Betancourt family, $30 billion. You got to go a little ways, the Walton family, to get to some Googles. Michael Bloomberg, the mayor of New York. Boy, that pays well. He's worth $27 billion. That's a good job. Sheldon Adelson, that's an interesting story. Shelley, the guy who started CES, then became a casino mogul. And he's number 15. More Waltons. Bezos, 19 with 25.2 billion. Larry Page, 23 billion, 20. And Larry's a little richer, $0.2 billion richer.
Isn't that funny? You think, okay, just a little bit, and you realize that's $200 million.
It's a little teeny bit.
Yeah, I'll take the difference,
That's the
please.
rounding error between them is $200 million.
That's probably awards for being CEO or something, right? 20 and 21.
Well, one of them might have sold more of their stuff.
Yeah, or they made different investments or something.
Yeah. Close enough. I always like Prince Al-Walid bin Talal Hawa worth 20 billion. Carl Icahn, 20 billion. I like this list because it's just, you go, wow. Wow. These are people who are infinitely wealthy. The man who owns the Mars bar fortune, Forrest Mars Jr., is a candy billionaire, $17 billion. All right. What else? 6 strikes.
Well, I didn't know if you want to
in.
go down that rat hole.
We've
but
talked a lot about it. It became law. Well, not law.
What's new here is that the cable companies say what they're actually going to do.
Right.
One of them is going to do nothing. One of them is going to cut you off for some period. Some of them are going to cut you down. It's all obnoxious.
Yeah, so the idea is every time you're accused of copyright infringement is a strike. By the time you get to strike 4 or 5, most of these companies will at least throttle you. Some of them will... I think Comcast will throw up a landing page that says, until you take our re-education course on piracy, you can't get on the internet. And their attitude is, well, this is better than the 3 strikes law, which knocked you off the internet forever. At least we're not proposing that.
It's ridiculous.
But we had Cory Doctorow on Triangulation last week. He said, yeah, but nobody forced them to do this. This isn't,
Right.
this is their volunteer. They're basically bending over for the recording industry.
Yep.
And of course, you can not, it is illegal to unlock a phone, but thanks to petitions at the White House, and several 100,000 people signed that petition saying it should be legal, the White House has responded and says, you're right. Now, they don't have any right or power to change it, but
they've got to get the law changed.
they
But,
can,
you know,
they
I
can
saw
kind of make a statement here, and I think they did. Yeah, you're right. You should be able to unlock your phone.
I went through my closet and I found some really old phones and decided I sold a blackjack here for $25 for $30 on eBay, right?
Yeah.
And I say in my listing it's unlocked. Well, that one isn't, but something else is. And eBay slashes up a message right now that says after January 27th, 2013, it is illegal to sell a phone that was not unlocked by the manufacturer or by the phone company.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that's right. That's the new thing, right? They popped that up just to warn you. You cannot sell that phone.
Yeah.
Although they let you sell it, they just warn you.
They just say it's your ass.
We're not responsible. Let's take a break. Come back with our tip, tool, and number of the week. But I first want to tell you, speaking of phones, did you see that Sprint says now they're going to let MVNOs take Sprint devices and bring them over? Companies like Ting. This is exciting news. Ting's had bring your own device for a while for a limited number, but I think we're going to see more and more of these. Ting is a new mobile phone service that, you know, just they're really trying to do it better. You save money with Ting, of course. It's really affordable. You do only pay for what you use. There are no contracts. You're month to month. No termination fees. Unlimited devices on a single pool plan, so it's great for a family or small business. They resell Sprint, so it is, if you have good Sprint coverage where you are, Ting will be a great choice for you. You know, a really good example, in fact, if you go to twig.ting.com, you can just take a look at the calculator, the pricing calculator. Bring your current cell phone bill and enter in what you pay right now, and you'll see how much you'll save. It starts $6 a month per device, so, you know, 4 phones, $24 a month. Then you add in the text messages, the phone minutes, and the bandwidth you want, And you'll see it's an amazingly low price. But here's the beauty part. You use less, they rebate it. Literally, they refund you the money. You use more, they charge you at the same rate. There's no penalty for using more data. Just an amazing. And there's no bundling or ride-along services. There's no overage charges, no penalties. You get all the things you want, including tethering and hotspotting, free. Three-way calling, call forwarding, no add-on charges, no mysterious line items. And the account control panel is fantastic, so you can really see what's going on with your account. Again, great for business. Customer support, well, it's from Tucows, so you know it's the best customer support in the world. You call 855-TING for the win. TING FDW anytime between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern. A real person who's empowered to help you will pick up the phone. They won't put you on hold. They'll take care of you. But they've also got great help at help.ting.com, active customer forums, help ticketing system, lots of video tutorials, startup guides, and more. Ting is a great phone service, and to help you get started with Ting, save $25 on your first device. Yeah, they got all the great Android phones, including the Note 2 and all of that, Samsung Galaxy S3. They'll have the S4 as soon as it's available, I'm sure. To $25 off your first device when you go to Ting, .ting.com, twig.ting.com. I like the Note 2. That'd be my pick. But they have the Optimus G too, which is basically the Nexus 4, with LTE, stuff like that. Really nice. Twig.ting.com. We thank them for their support. Great company, great service, reinventing mobile phone service. Gina Trapani, your tip of the week.
So my tip this week is a new Android app. Well, it's not actually not new. It's an update to an Android app that I really love. I think it was many, many episodes ago on this show. I was saying that I really wanted kind of the Kindle app for podcasts, right? Because I've got a bunch of devices. I listen to podcasts a lot, listen to podcasts across my devices. And it would frustrate me when I couldn't remember, what episodes I'd listened to and how far in I'd listened to them. Well, the guys in All About Android, the show that I do on Tuesday nights, Jason and Ron, they convinced me to check out Pocket Casts, which has a brand new version that dropped. Do you use this, Leo?
Oh, yeah.
New version, Pocket Cast 4, syncs what you've listened to and to what point you've listened to it across your Android devices. This is awesome, right? Because I listen to podcasts on my, my phone, on my Nexus 7. Really, really, really great app. Love it. I think, I don't know, I think it's like $3 or something like that.
Yeah, I just
Money
bought
well
it
spent.
thanks to you.
Yeah, really, really nice design. Just really well done. And in fact, just Shifty Jelly, which is the company that makes Pocket Cast 4, did this great blog post called Why Android First. They actually released Pocket Cast 4 on Android first versus iOS because they said that this app has outsold, the Android app outsold the iOS app 5-1, which is kind of an interesting story. Not really the story that you hear. You always hear developers saying that things sell better on iOS. So Pocket Cast 4, absolutely love it. Check it out if you like podcasts, which you probably do because you're listening to this one. And also, good. I'll admit, it helps that they included All About Android in there.
Yeah, right on the front there in a big, big picture. Love
Quite
it.
a few Twit shows, actually.
Well, as it should be. Absolutely.
As it should be.
As it should be. Pocket Cast 4, $3.99 at the Play Store, play.google.com. Your number, Mr. Jarvis.
Let's see. I got a smorgasbord here of them.
Give them all of us. Give them all.
Well, okay, we can do two things. Google versus Apple stock prices at the widest gap since 2005. 25 times earnings for Google, 10 times for Apple. Between that and Annie and Akko switching to Android.
It's all over for Apple. It's history. They're gone.
That's it. The other interesting number is that 98% of Chinese-made smartphones run Android. And that has the Chinese government going a little batty. But it also, I think, gives Google says we got the last laugh, man.
Well, it's no wonder. I mean, because you can customize it.
Exactly.
So...
Yeah, in fact, I'm surprised that they sell any iPhones in China, to be honest.
Well, this is a Chinese-made.
Chinese manufactured.
For Chinese market.
Right. Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, there's not going to be any China.
Well, actually, iPhones are Chinese-made, but you know what I mean.
Everything's Chinese.
Right. Sold in China.
Sold in China. By Chinese companies.
By Chinese companies, yeah.
By us, for us. Yes. That's it. You could throw in an extra number if you want.
Well, Google's cash pile is $48 billion. Of course, Apple's is $137
billion. 3 times that, yeah.
But still, $48 billion is a big cash haul. They spent, what did it say there for Motorola? $12.4 billion for Motorola. and that's gone so well. So they got a lot more things they can buy.
Very cool.
Don't know what it'll be.
What will it be? Google Glass. Yeah, this is nice. You know, if you do Wolfram Alpha, if you do like Google versus Apple, you can get a table of the two compared: stock price, market cap, revenue. You can really, this is a good way to see the two. You know, for instance, Apple has 72,000 worldwide employees. Google just 53,000.
Yeah. Well,
revenue per employee for Apple is 2.2 million compared to 931,000. Net income, shares outstanding, annual. The P to E is a good one. Yep. And no dividend for Google owners. But you can look at fundamentals, and then there's a drop down. You can look at ratios, balance sheet. This is a great way to research companies. Wolframalpha.com. Aaron, did you want to throw in a tool or a tip? Or?
Well, I've got an app actually. I didn't realize that Gina was going to do an app. So this is a little bit more geeky. If you let me get out of the way. There we go.
Ooh.
Yeah,
welcome to Star Trek. It's an LCARS.
This is my LCARS desktop. That's not what I'm going to show though.
Oh. You mean that's your regular desktop?
Yeah, that's my lock screen. My lock screen is LCARS. So this is an app called Drive Droid, and basically what this does is you load Linux ISO images, boot disks basically, onto your Android, and then you can plug in your Android via USB to a computer and boot any of these images. You just select one. And so, you know, like usually you're carrying around little USB sticks.
You've got 5 distros on your phone.
Well, these are all important. I mean, you can't go without at least Fedora, Ubuntu, FreeBSD, and Partition Magic, right?
You know what I'd love to have is a Pixel that could boot to FreeBSD. That would be nice.
Yeah,
or Solaris.
Yeah, you could do either of those. I'm sure. So I will.
I have 5 distros on my phone. Which would you like to boot to?
Yeah, take your pick. Spin the wheel.
So that's really treating the phone like a giant USB.
Exactly, it's like a giant USB drive. What it does is it mounts these images so that it looks just like a USB disk.
They have to be live drives.
Yeah, they have to be. Yeah, but it's great for troubleshooting. I don't know how SLITAZ or SLITAZ.
What is that?
It's basically a really really slimmed down version of Linux. It's 35 meg. And it comes with things like Gparted, so you can fix disk problems and things like that.
So this has now become your fix-it
Exactly.
tool.
So anybody that has a problem, like, I got a virus on my Windows thing.
So you got Fedora 18 on there. What's PMagic?
Partition Magic.
Oh, I love Partition
If you have disk problems or anything, it's from
is that still around? I used to use it for years.
Yeah. Actually, I'm sorry, not Partition Magic. Parted Magic.
Oh, that's the
Parted Magic. So this is the open source version. Basically does everything that Partition Magic did, but it uses Parted as opposed to.
So it's an interface to Parted, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a GUI interface. So what
else you got on there? Let's show his phone. I'm stealing all the ISOs.
Well, here's the other thing you can do, right? So if you don't see what's on here, you can just hit the plus button.
You can add other ones.
You can download the image directly.
Drive Droid.
Yep.
Now this of course takes up space on your phone.
Not only does it take up space, but it also requires root.
Okay.
So that's the caveat. So you have to be running root. So that's why I said it's a little bit more geeky, but you know they've got all of these defaults.
Yeah, this ain't geeky. No.
It's not geeky at all, right? All of these you can just do straight Debian. You can do anything.
So how much space are you using?
So each one of these is about, I'd say max about 800 megabytes.
Oh, that's not bad.
So it's not bad.
So if
but
you have a 32
have
gig card in there, and you can store it on your SD card.
Yeah, you can store. Yeah, it stores it on the SD card. It's just the way that it mounts it on the USB when you hook up the cable. So
Drive Droid. Need root, big deal.
Yeah.
If you don't have root, I don't know why you're even alive.
That's right.
Just use
my sentiments exactly.
Why wouldn't you have root?
Why wouldn't you?
It doesn't have to be. Does it have to be a drive image, or could I have like portable Chrome on there?
It has to be an
or
ISO.
something like that?
It has to be a bootable ISO.
Okay.
Image.
Okay.
That's all. That's really the only requirement. If it's not one that's in the list of ones you can download, you can actually download it yourself and then put it in on the phone. You can transfer the image over to the directory on the phone, and it'll appear in the list.
Very cool.
So it's very helpful if you're someone that does this all day long, goes around and fixes other people's computers or whatever.
Yeah.
Very, very handy to just carry your phone with you, which you have anyway, as opposed to a bootable hard drive or a USB drive or something.
Installing it right now.
Cool.
Check it out.
I guess you could put Ultimate Boot CD for Windows on there. If you have a bootable ISO, yes.
It should work.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, they say in here that not every ISO image will work, but every one that I've tried has worked fine. The other thing that to mention is that you may have trouble with UEFI bootable computers. Some of the comments in Google Plus when I was talking about this mentioned that, I've got a UFI boot.
Yeah, that's
bootloader.
always, but that's a problem for everything.
Yeah. So
don't buy those. Well, by the way, this is one, but don't buy those. Now there's a paid version and a free version.
Yep. Ads. It's just ads.
Okay.
Yeah.
$128, worth it. I'm buying it right now.
Yep.
Installing it right onto this phone right here.
Lots of fun.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this show. It's always fun to do This Week in Google, even though we talk about everything, sometimes but Google. Jeff Jarvis is our media guru and the author of, as you probably know now, What Would Google Do? As seen on TV. And his latest, which is Public Parts. I'm surprised they didn't hold that up. He's also a professor of journalism to those lucky few at the City University of New York. And blogs at buzzmachine.com. And I guess I have to say medium.com/@JeffJarvis. Read the free stuff, the stuff he gives away.
I put it on the blog too.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't matter.
So, no.
It's prettier on Medium.
Yes.
Aw.
I know, that's mean. You should just steal their CSS, then you don't need them anymore.
Well, but
There's
on
no
Buzz
ear-
Machine,
there's
Jeff
no ear
gets
hair on Medium.
ad money.
Right. But support Jeff and read it on Buzz Machine. Read Gina at smarterware.org. That's where she blogs. She's also the author of Think Up, a great Twitter analyzation app. You can find it at thinkup.com. And thank you, Aaron, for sticking around. Aaron often is seen, in fact, was this morning on Floss Weekly, our open source. What would you talk about today?
Cake PHP.
Oh.
So really interesting if you're into PHP and you want a simple way to deploy a PHP framework, Cake PHP is the way to go.
Awesome.
They make it really simple and easy. So
it's like Rails for PHP.
Exactly. That's exactly
it's NBC, right? For I like Cake.
Yep.
Very nice. I love Cake. But not that kind. I like Red Velvet.
Well, it was interesting. Their annual event, their conference is called Cake Fest. So I'm like, I'm there, man.
Attracts some of the wrong kinds,
right,
though.
Right. I show up with forks.
The Pixel has Core Boot and not UEFI or BIOS, so that means I'll be able to use the Pixel with this.
There you go.
I'm very interested. I mean, if I could just dual boot it, that would be awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Awesome. And of course, do you still do your other podcast?
I don't really do it
so I
anymore.
won't mention it.
No, just follow me at Aaron Newcomb.
That's the way to do it.
Google Plus is great. Anywhere else is fine too, but
We thank you for watching. We do this show every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 2100 UTC on twit.tv. Of course, you can always watch live. We love it if you do, but if you don't, or you can't, on-demand audio and video available at twit.tv/twig and wherever internet broadcasts are aggregated, stored, delivered to your computer. We'll see you next time on Twig.